Welcome to Harriet's Gun, shape-shifting towards a radically imagined Black future 2024. This is a study, an activation, an inspiration map of how we move into spaces of power and crown ourselves. This is the Black future. This is a resistance to the consumption of Black suffering, an acknowledgement of that suffering as a launch pad into new life without giving suffering all the power. This is Black folks in full-bodied Black joy, wings spread. It is us and the full bloom stage of shapeshifting. It is an unapologetic arrival into our brightness, the tears and fire that makes us rainbows, the sweetness of freedom savored. I am coming to you from San Francisco on the traditional and unceded lands of the Ramaytush Ohlone people near the village site of Yelamu. Please take a minute to share in the chat where you're coming from. Our featured artists from all over the world, tell us where you are. Charleston, South Carolina, hey. Oakland, more Charleston, Berlin, Germany, in the house. Los Angeles, lovely. Mexico, South San Francisco, Vancouver, Charleston again. It's good to have you with us. Now, we cannot pretend that all the things in the world are not happening and that we do not have the privilege of sharing this virtual space tonight in a time of great upheaval, loss, and destruction. Our intention is to use our privilege and our art to hold space for healing, hold space for all those surviving through dark and violent times. May tonight be a light for those that are just trying to be okay, for those that are just trying to find a meal and rest, for those that have lost loved ones and homes, for those that don't know what to do next. We want to take this time to acknowledge and send loving energy to the new ancestors of Haiti, the Congo, Sudan, Ukraine, Palestine, Israel, and other places in the world. Please take this time to put into the chat any ancestors you want to bring into this evening. Ancestors who we know can help us in this trying time. Let us bring their names and their spirits into the work of liberation and light. Harriet Tubman, Vera Lee Fields, of course, Malcolm, Bell Hooks, Josephine Baker, Catherine Dunham, Cozell Wilson, Ida B. Wells, Audre Lorde, bless her, Gina Dawson, Toni Morrison, yes, Octavia Butler, Essex Hemphill, my brother, yes. And while you keep entering the names, we will play a short video of the ancestors we dedicate this work to. Please watch.
Keep holding my hand, my hand, my hand. Keep holding my hand. I lift my palm towards freedom land. I gotta birth my dreams and stand. Keep holding my hand, my hand, my hand. Keep holding my hand. I lift my palms towards freedom land. Gonna birth my dreams and stand. Gonna birth my dreams and saying,
Thank you. Thank you for bringing such powerful ancestors into this space to join the ones we honor with this work tonight. And now, let's begin. Harriet's gun, shape-shifting towards a radically imagined Black future.
Our ancestors have dreamed of this moment. Their voices sing through our rage, our joy, our pain, and our triumph. We were made for this moment. Let our voices, our bodies, and our spirits rise up like a mighty force. And remember that we do this. We do this for Rakia, we do this for Islam, for Mike, for Damo, for Corinne, and for future generations. We have no choice but to fight, but to resist, and dream big. Dream big. The Black radical imagination lives and breathes and exists through us. They have called us to this moment, and we have everything that we need and more. Everything that we need and more. It is through collective organizing that we will win. And I believe in my heart of all hearts that we will win. Because Harriet says so. Because Asada says so. Because Denmark says so. Because Ella says so. Because Fanny says so. And because the children that I have yet to bear say so.
I've been walking with my face turned to the sun, weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I have to run. I do what I can when I can, while I can for my people. While the clouds roll back and the stars fill the night, that's when I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my bones. Early in the morning, before the sun begins to shine, we're gonna start moving towards that separating line. I'm wading through muddy waters. You know I gotta make up mind. And I don't mind if I lose any blood on the way to salvation. And I fight with the strength that I got until I die. So I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on.
Between the bucket and the water at the bottom of the well, against the crocodile's belly where the river rocks swell, number 8 of 12, a mother before she was a woman, Real talk for show. Still black in Frisco. An actress, teacher, niece, great-grandmother, singer, conjurer, word wielder, sometimes working on the tip of the blade, sometimes in a cage. Call, response, improvise, transform. Rhodessa Jones is Harriet Storm, the co-artistic director of the San Francisco-based theater company Cultural Odyssey and the founding director of the Medea Project, theater for incarcerated women, our influencer, our respected wisdom giver, our thought leader, our divine inspiration, our love facilitator, and our mistress of ceremonies, Miss Rhodessa Jones.
There was a time when the people came before us, were us, a time when they were superfine and in them streets, with fresh beehive buzzing minds, dripping idea, honey everywhere. They were outside, looking good and standing good and doing things that attracted folks. Many of them weren't revered in their beginnings. Many hustled hard, lost a lot, and paid all the dues in their middles. But we're honored in the end. Some were, some died alone or gotten taken by the undertow. In between, there was so many watching, learning, moving, and making magic from their predecessors' masterpieces and messes. Then, there were so many that studied them, all of us inside of Anase's web of star stories, while making our own star stories. We know that our extraordinary Ashanti, Queen Mother Nanny of the Maroons, Harriet Tubman, and Ya Asantewa, were just moving with an embodied understanding of their ancestral lineage, sacred geometry, indigenous technology, strategy, warfare, justice, liberation, and integrity, just to name a few. They were just beginning the remarkable leaders that they were born to be. And so then our work, our love, our play, our lives have grown far beyond reimagining, repurposing, and redefining what we've been given to purposely imagining, defining, amplifying, and advancing what we've always had outside and in the open, while we crown ourselves over and over again.
So you know hide and seek, right? One person is it and has to find a bunch of people hiding. A kid's game, sure, but here we play hide and seek with everything. Bills due, hide. Red and blue lights, hide. I remember the first time the bus driver left me standing on the sidewalk. I ran 5 blocks and across 2 lanes of traffic to catch the 98 and they left me. Now I'm standing there sweating and angry. I just think it's funny how last year I could use the bus change to buy 2 bags of chips, a red drink, a ring pop for a fake engagement, and now all I get is eye roll, and that's not enough. This game taught me a lot. Taught me some things are hidden for a reason, taught me some things are worth the challenge of finding them. I crack open a sun pinata, and everything that falls is a gift for us. I'll find you personally and hand it to you.
Why are you running? Why are you
You know those vacation travel guides? The ones that look like college diversity brochures? If you've been anywhere, then you know not to trust them. Brochure says, visit this taco spot, rated #1 amongst tourists. Meanwhile, the tourists they polled say quesadilla like quesadilla.
Do you have problem with the roads?
No,
Problem with the water? No. Problem with the people?
no,
Problem with the power?
yes,
Power?
yes,
Power?
yes,
Problem with the power?
yes,
Girls?
no,
Power?
yes,
Problem with the power?
yes.
Point being, you know the best way to find the life in a city is to find someone that lives in the city. The people that don't make it in the travel guide. The people from the places you don't hear about. Ask them about the buses, the light rail, who to trust. Example, if you were to ask me for the best shows in Oakland, I'd tell you to ride BART between Coliseum and Powell Street. Just wait. And when you hear E40 and see 8 dreadheads making the techies uncomfortable, you found it. You haven't visited Oakland unless you found the turfers. If you were to ask me how to stay safe, I'd tell you to pay attention to colors. Red and blue lights, hide. Your friend taking the one at night, you stay with them. I've heard stories of first-timers riding the bus, mothers working their birthright to intersections forgotten by the city. I heard people make shadows out of folks like me. Hide the story of a joy that didn't return home in a chalk outline somewhere and say they never saw what happened. I remember the first time they said my city was all trauma and sadness. It felt like every time they called Africa a city of walking skeletons and zombie children. First of all, Africa's not even a city, bro. I've been to Europe for the World Cup. I've been to Paris for Pride and even visited the Dominican Republic in hopes of finding people that look like me. There's gold everywhere, but if I'm not happy, what's a shiny city gonna do to fix that? There's a word, bacchanal, which means joy, party, excitement. Ask me how much bacchanal costs, and I'll tell you it's as free as you need. If you asked me where I was going, I'd tell you about a memory, a game I would play with my grandmother. I would call her from my mother's room and hide under blankets. She'd pretend she didn't know where I was, and again, it was like she was saying, I'll be back to finish this game. We can play for as long as you want.
Yo, my dad was everything in the 90s. Did I ever tell you this? Okay, picture this. An onyx-skinned bodybuilder with the soul of a percussionist, a protective heart, and a childlike laugh. He was dripping with charm, and everybody knew his name. A local celebrity. The hood was riding high on some black love after the Rodney King uprising. Everybody wanted revolution, and my dad was one of the main ones fighting for it. Yo, so the block that I stayed on was basically like a John Singleton film, gangbangers and all. And my dad taught them about decolonization and revolution from the books he got from the African marketplace. They even started to call him Africa when they tried to check him and ask him where he was from, because that's where he said he was from, Africa. Man, they still check about him to this day, asking about him, wondering. They were just so thankful for the knowledge that he taught them. He actually taught us about revolution and decolonization as well from those books. He wanted us to know how beautiful and genius our blackness was. He didn't want us indoctrinated with none of that white supremacy shit when we got to school. And there was this one time he found out that I was struggling with math. He was so mad. He looked at me and he said, "How are you struggling with math? We created math. You better talk to your ancestors and get that shit together." Man, he was a trip. Yo, my dad was everything. He played video games with us, took us to the park and to the beach, colored with us, even watched cartoons with us. Just fun. And anytime music was playing, he would break out his congas and play along. Man, a true musician. And that's how my parents met. At a club one night, my mom went to when my dad was playing, and the rest was history. He put his music career down though. My mother was a registered nurse. She made way more money than he did, and it was more consistent. And they wanted us to have a parent to come home to. He was happy to be a stay-at-home dad. Yo, and I am so glad he did.
From the weary crowned head walking the earth, calling the sirens out from the deep, from the oceans and rivers and swamps where they sleep. Don't cry by the water because you could drown. If you're sad and you get in, they will take you down. Or they might just sit by and listen a while. Maybe tickle your feet and then make you smile. Go cry in that water. Refresh in the fresh, bringing salt to the salt, so your burdens can rest. Let your ancestors hear you. Release all that you can submerge and surrender. Dig your feet in the sand. Earth womb mirrors seeing all the things, from the past to the present to the people with wings, moving forward and backwards through space and time, through the mirrors and portals back to the divine.
What black folks always like to say is like, how do you control a situation when you're bolted to the wall? You're definitely when you're always in the fixed position now to the bottom. Sorry. And the other person is the active, and you're the passive. How do you control inaction when you're in a fixed position now to passiveness? I like to say black people do this thing I call glamoring. We glamour. It's kind of like you're chained against the wall. A person is acting on you in violent ways, or maybe not, but you're not consenting. They're acting on you. How do you control that person? Well, I think what black people tend to do is we tend to mesmerize the person who's acting on us. So a lot of what we do, everything from shucking and jiving to Michael Jackson moonwalking, it's all glamoring.
These are books that we found were very helpful for our lives. They were motivational, they were inspirational, and sometimes fantasy is so healthy. It's okay. Somebody wanted that.
Somebody's here.
Yes, they are. They're all here. So you're going to do this back to your seat. So they're opening and closing the pages. Yes, and they arranged this for you. Okay, so you're going to try and pull all of those out. Are they there? Yes, they are. Bring them out. Okay, these are spices. Yep.
Sage.
Sage. So you can use sage a lot of different ways. You can burn it to quote unquote cleanse, but what sage does, it opens the way. Where is it? Aha. So would you please join me and bring this item? This is Florida water, a spiritual tool used by many different cultures. Okay, you ready? Don't use any profane language. Except when you absolutely have to. Okay? So you're going to do this. And they carry the energy of the people who are either in the photo, Ms. Shanga and her sister. Sometimes they bring you to tears because the people are speaking to you. And sometimes they just bring you great laughter and great joy because of the memories they evoke.
Don't always look for sickness, sadness, and struggle to get the medicine. Remember, remembering is a call to reckoning. Reckoning is a call to remember. In a sea of children sampling samples of samples, middle-aged people made of the early aughts, 80s and 90s hip-hop culture, and elders made of drums, the blues, jazz, rock, funk, R&B, soul, house music, and the church. There is always everything else that can be, everything else that is or ever was, the seed. Black people, Black, because we said so, and saw it as our plot of land to grow a throne, absorbing and reflecting light and dark, never boxed, never taught that fear meant stop, never afraid of getting lost, because the seed maker can never be caught. The elders sometimes say that children are lost. Some are, that's just people. Not every harvest yields a crop, but some of them are not. And real talk, how can you find your way if you never get lost? How can you find your way if you never go astray? Let us pray. May we continue to create blueprints for our ancestors to find us and us to find them every day. We're not in the time where we can have nothing to say. There are those that know to return to the soil where the seeds of our soul power grow, to find our way forward and every way else, to code and decode and explode, to sow our seed recipes so that they continue to flow bigger and wider and deeper than all that we think that we know, because the seed maker can never be taught, contained, chased out, replicated, destroyed, sold, or bought. Don't always look for sickness, sadness, and struggle to get the medicine. Remembering is a call to reckoning. Reckoning is a call to remember.
Now, there was no way for the book entitled The Historical Statistics of the United States from Colonial Times to 1957 to measure by pound or tonnage or by barrel weight the human beings. They used only head count. The book that I'm referring to, The Historical Statistics of the United States, is full of fascinating information, not the least of which is a series labeled Z, 281 to 303, which documents in chronological order and by point of destination and import and export those humans who came to the United States from 1619 to 1769. It seems that every effort was made in compiling these charts and graphs and lists to assure accuracy. Underneath the neat little columns of figures are footnotes for whenever there is some equivocation or some number that the Census Bureau is not quite sure of, they identify the fact that it is incomplete. We are very sorry, they seem to say that our information is not complete. You understand, the country was just getting itself together, and we did not have expert means of collecting data. Things were not very efficient then. And you can sense the reasonableness and the gentlemanly assertion everywhere in those pages. But it is a reasonableness without the least hope of success, because the language cracks under the weight of its own implications. Footnote 3, for example, under slaves, clarifies the ambiguity of its reference with the following words. Source shows 72 Indians imported. Of that another number, 231 slaves died, and 103 were drawn back for exportation. Died and drawn back are very strange words to find in an index of imports and exports. They're words you could never use to describe rice. Footnote 5 is very civilized. It says number of Negroes shipped, not those who actually arrived. There was a difference, apparently, between the number shipped and the number that actually arrived. And then the mind gallops over to the first unanswered question: how many? How many were shipped, and how many did not arrive? And then one thinks about the next question, the really vital question that withers all of the others. Who? Who was absent at the final head count? Was there a 17-year-old girl there with a tree-shaped scar on her knee? And what was her name?
burnt and sweet, more than meat, creator of worlds, know my worth. I've done enough. I am enough.
I want to share a piece that I wrote for little black girls, and I call it Black Girl Fly. Imagine little black girl, maybe 9, maybe 10. She solemnly swears to herself she will win. She will write her thoughts. She will read them loud. She will speak her mind. She'll be black and proud. She gonna light up the world with her futuristic vision about what our world would look like if we fought for abolition of the systems that are founded on a mass superstition that demand that our minds and our bodies are imprisoned. Yes, she gonna do all that. But in order to do that, she has to dodge the things that hold her back, like assumptions made about who she is and what she should do and how she should live, like be a good girl and don't make no noise and go play with Barbies and these pink toys, and your strength is no match for the strength of the boys, and she knows that ignorance given power destroys, but she won't be held back. No, she won't do that. Yes, she will push through. That's what black girls do, and she has no limit. She exceeds the sky. She is strength and power that you can't deny. She will challenge authority. No, she won't comply. She will change the world. Yes, she will go high, and I'll be shading my eyes as I look in the sky. What I see in the clouds, that young black girl fly.
No, we got on the same ears. Yes, twig. Yes, twig.
Yo, I was listening to this podcast the other day, and this lady was talking about how gold has metaphysical powers and connects back to black culture.
What? Metaphysical powers in black culture? Nah, girl, you gotta put us on.
Did you know that we have the element of gold inside our bodies? These gold earrings I'm wearing right now can be traced back to Nubia, Africa. So the gold jewelry that we wear today may contain stardust.
Wow, that's crazy. Y'all, I know this may sound a little bit weird, but what if our gold hoop earrings can be portals to help us travel through different dimensions?
I always had a desire to hide, to blend in, to shrink, to sit in the back. I never wanted to be front and center. I like being invisible like the wind, and felt when the time is right. But lately, I have been feeling more deeply. I have been feeling vibrations that are electrifying, and I feel them when I'm asleep. spoke to me at night. You spoke to me at night. I tossed, I turned, I dreamed. I tossed, I turned, I dreamed, I just wanna fly. I tossed, I turned, I dreamed, I just wanna fly. I tossed, I turned, I dreamed, I just wanna fly. I tossed, I turned, I dreamed, I just wanna fly. I just wanna fly. I wanna fly, I wanna fly, I wanna fly, I wanna go. I wanna go, 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 I wanna go. This is what freedom feels like. 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 Is this what freedom feels like? Levitating to a new dimension. Learning to swim in possibilities and endless opportunities. Is this what freedom feels like? Levitating to a new dimension. Learning to swim in possibilities and endless opportunities. Moving beyond my physical realm to save me, her, and you.
Imagine a little black girl, maybe 9, maybe 10. She solemnly swears to herself she will win. She will write her thoughts. She will read them loud. She will speak her mind. She'll be black and proud. She's gonna light up the world with her futuristic vision about what our world would look like if we fought for abolition of the systems that are founded on a mass superstition that demand that our minds and our bodies are imprisoned. Yes, she's gonna do all that. But in order to do that, she has to dodge the things that hold her back, like assumptions made about who she is and what she should do and how she should live. Like, be a good girl and don't make no noise and go play with Barbies and these pink toys. And your strength is no match for the strength of the boys. And she knows that ignorance given power destroys, but she won't be held back. No, she won't do that. Yes, she will push through. That's what black girls do. And she has no limit. She exceeds the sky. She is strength and power that you can't deny. She will challenge authority. No, she won't comply. She will change the world. Yes, she will go high. And I'll be shading my eyes as I look in the sky. What I see in the clouds, that young black girl fly.
Y'all, I know this may sound a little bit weird, but what if our gold hoop earrings can be portals to help us travel through different dimensions?
We are outside. We outside. Analog and sci-fi, loud and colorful, sharp and focused, laughing and living, blurred and slurring spells, crowned and uncrowned, crowned and undrowned. Big up Alexis Pauline Gums, free in handcuffs, afraid but standing up anyway, doing all of it, talking about all of it, moving all of it around, lost and found in the middle of patriarchal power grabs, panic, promises to remember, bills to pay, children to raise, mental health to sustain, and pulls to leave the past behind. But we never do, and no thing is ever completely new. We are outside. We outside, reversing the curses, healing, and absolutely not healing generational trauma, losing fibers of the binding, rebirthing ourselves in the wildness of abundance, in the richness of mud and moon and magic, in the meditations of inventing ways to be outside of what we've been given, but hidden, and not always been able to hear. But now it's clear. We outside in the meditation of building futures with what we've always had, doing things we don't know how to do, making meaning we can't explain, half and whole way going dumb, crazy, off the rails, and insane, swiping and wiping tears and tides away, searching for better days. Because if we listen more often to things than to beings, like Sweet Honey in the Rock said, we will no longer be able to deny that the dead are not under the earth. They're everywhere, outside, inside, speaking to us and through us. Don't hide, don't hide, don't hide. Spirit will find you, guide you, and provide if you let it. Remembering is a call to reckoning. Reckoning is a call to remember. The children, young, lost, found, rooted, and astray are taking space to freeze and unfreeze and seize and unseize because they said so, because we say so, not because of disease. We're outside. We outside because there are people that still have to be outside, that don't have the time, space, energy, or mind to listen to, write, dance, sing, say, or watch poetry. There are people that still have to run and hide right now and navigate genocides right now and fight to stay alive as they watch their loved ones die right now and pray for the souls of those that have died and continue to die right now, inside and outside. We outside, y'all. We out here. We outside. in all the ways that the mud covers the earth, in all the ways that mothers give birth, in all the ways that our lives have worth. We're not in a time where we can have nothing to say, swiping and wiping tears and tides away, searching for better days. Let us turn to the wisdom of women to understand what we need to make now outside. With all of our wands, herbs, stones, cards, dust, seeds, and secrets, let us, all of us, pray.
What color is your freedom? Is your freedom?
What color is your freedom? Growing up, I was taught that freedom was one thing: white. White snow, the white light at the end of the tunnel, the pearly white gates of heaven, white picket fences, white diamonds. Why couldn't freedom be other colors? What was wrong with my freedom being a little different? What if my freedom was yellow? Sitting in sunflower fields, eating lemon pound cake. A quilt of amber, what if my freedom was yellow? Like gold speckled suns and buttery cornbread. Taxi cabs and Beyonce's lemonade. Or what if my freedom was blue? Like midnight air on an ocean, a sea of stars, and a kiss from Yamaya. What if my freedom was blue? Like morpho butterflies and sapphire geodes. Blue like the seventh planet from the sun and your favorite pair of Levi jeans. Blue like Dory and the best flavor of Otter Pops. Morning glories and relaxed on a mood ring. Or what if my freedom was red? Like picnic blankets and juicy ripe watermelon. Like the love produced by a phoenix and a cardinal. What if my freedom was red? Like wishing wells filled with maraschino cherries and red vines. Red like childhood memories of finger painting in Elmo. Or what if my freedom was black? Like family reunions and collard greens, cocoa butter and porch swings, black like Panthers and resistance, black like Sunday morning sermons and usher gloves, black like Octavia, like Audrey, like Baldwin, black like Malcolm's dreams and Martin's vision, black like Mandela's hope, black like Eric, Sandra, and Oscar, black like lives that matter, black like second lines and southern draws, black like Geechee, like Gullah, like the Bayou. My freedom is black. My black freedom is beautiful like Nina, like Ella, like Billy. It's fierce like Ferguson. It's strong like Mayweather. My black freedom don't die. It multiplies. And when my black freedom says, say it loud, it replies, my black freedom is youthful, like scraper bikes and turf battles on BART trains. My black freedom dances, bone breaks, and pirouettes. It stomps and hollers and proclaims its joy. To the heavens, to God, to Allah and Oshun, my freedom is existence. My freedom is self-determined. My freedom is black.
Zumba, head in the bed, Zumba, head in the bed, Zumba, Zumba, head in the bed, Zumba, head in the bed, Zumba,
Who prays for the diamonds and pearls, making themselves trying not to get crushed or drowned? No one can catch the seed maker because the seed maker is always and never around. And who prays for the prayer warriors that don't sleep? The old neighbors, the grandchildren, the people that hold us so that we can hold others, so that we can make our artistic and creative interpretations of their experiences and create healing from their stories. Who prays for the people that make it possible for us to hold the weight of the dreamer crowns we inherit, accept, and pass on? No one can catch the seed maker because the seed maker is always and never around. Who prays for the invisible people and the people that are barely alive, that amplify the visibility of others, but can't afford funding or press coverage to be remembered or broadcast on lives? Who prays for the ascendant that continue to teach us that the pressure and push and discomfort it takes to dream and birth each part of each seed that we make is made possible by love and perseverance and faith, who prays for the diamonds and pearls, making themselves trying not to get crushed or drowned. No one can catch the seed maker because the seed maker is always and never around. Thank you all so much for coming. And now I want to invite all of today's artists to the screen right now. Come through, good people. It's time to chat it up. Okay, great. Beautiful.
Hey, thank you, Mama Rodessa, for leading us through that journey. It was a journey. Everybody take a deep breath in and deep breath out. Thank you to all the brilliant artists that were able to make it through tonight because, wow, that was a lot of shadows and trees and waters and just a lot of things. So we're going to start our discussion this evening by asking everyone to say the names and the companies that they are a part of and some kind of identifier about which piece was yours and your pronouns. My name is Adia Tamar Whitaker. I'm the founder and artistic director of Ashe Dance Theater Collective. I did not have a piece in the show tonight, but I'm one of the co-curators of the show. And I'm going to pass it to Rochelle.
Hi, I'm Rochelle Jamila. My pronouns are she and we. And I had the two films Into the Dark and Ode to Uraria. And I'll pass it to Jasmine.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jasmine Hearn. You can also call me Jazz. I use they, them pronouns. I'm originally from lands now known as Houston, Texas. And I come from my mother, my grandmother. I was with the Black high collar garment rock thing, and the cement, but also the land and the water that was with me at that time. I'd love to pass it to Jude.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jay Sharon, and my pronouns are she, her. And my film was about the gold hoop earrings and morphing through the gold hoops. And I'm excited to be with you all tonight. And I will pass it to Jay.
Thank you, Jade. Hi, my name is Jay, Jay Bowie. I use they, them pronouns. I am from Los Angeles, California, by way of Phoenix, Arizona, and I am in Best Eye right now. So I'm living around the world. I also come from my parents, Marcia Williams and Brian Bowie. And the film that I shared was an excerpt from my film Chiron and Leo, in which the character I was portraying, Chiron, was walking around Bed-Stuy and talking about their father in an amphitheater and kind of wiggling around a little bit. I would like to pass it to Kara.
What's up, everyone? My name is Kara Mack. I go with the she, her pronouns. Born and raised in Columbia, South Carolina, but now live in Los Angeles, California, out here in these streets. I'm grateful to Sarah and Adia for having Exodus, Harriet, the film that was at the top of the show, where I am the assistant choreographer in collaboration with Jamal Joseph, and I also played Harriet. And so that was an excerpt of that people can go on YouTube and see. But grateful to Sarah and Adia for allowing it, not for just one night, for both nights, and starting off this amazing, amazing, amazing virtual show. I'm really grateful and humbled. And I will pass it to Bernard. What's up, Bernard?
Hey, Kara. Hi, everyone. Bernard Brown. Bernard Brown BB Moves. He, they pronouns. My hometown is what is now called Los Angeles, California. My roots are in Alabama via my grandmother and my grandfather, who raised sugarcane on the farm land there. And my film is dedicated to my grandmother, and that work was about sugar, incidentally, and the beauty of the women that raised the people, that raised the land, that raised me. And yeah, really grateful to be here, long-winded. And I'll pass it on to my friend Raisa.
Hi everyone, I'm Raisa, and I'm she, her pronouns, coming to you from Ramaitu Shaloni Land, now called San Francisco. And my piece was with the powder blue costumes. Ostensibly, it's about gentrification in San Francisco, but really the piece is about Afrofuturism and Afrofuture. And I just logged on, so I don't know what else I need to say, and I don't know who has gone yet, but I'll pass on with permission to Moses. I don't know if you've gone.
No, I haven't gone yet. Good evening, everyone. My name is Moses Omalade, and I use he, they pronouns. I am born in New York, Brooklyn, New York, and of Nigerian descent. Grew up in London, Nigeria, and then back to New York, and I currently reside in Oakland, California. The piece that my crew brought in through Afro Urban Society, also known as Bedutown Radio, was Let Me Come and Let Me Be Going. And that piece was the piece featured in the Bay Area with the kind of downfall drivers, Nigerian buses, and kind of this Afro diasporic collage of what it means to be in the Bay. And to also just be living this hustle bustle life. That's all. And I think I might be the last one. No? Anyone else? Okay.
I can introduce myself. My name is Sarah Kroll, she, her pronouns, and I had the great honor of co-curating this incredible performance series and highlighting your amazing work with the incomparable Adia Whitaker. Such an honor. And also to be working with Mama Odessa Jones. My mom actually came and saw the show last night, and she's been Googling you, Rodessa. She's like, who is this sister right here? I need to know more about her. And speaking of my mom, she's in the audience. I hope she's still awake. Hi, Mom. This is her
Mom.
hey, everybody say, hey, Mom. Because it's my birthday today, so we gotta give love to my mama because she birthed me 59 years ago today. Yes. And this is her painting right behind me, Harriet Tubman. So in honor of her, my mom's a Pisces and Harriet was a Pisces. So, the ancestors came together. I'm sitting right here in Charleston, South Carolina, down the street from my mama. And I usually reside in Oakland, California. And I'm gonna pass it to Rodessa. I know we heard your voice a lot, but if you want to introduce yourself in a different way, say your thing, sis.
I'm Rodessa Jones, and I am the daughter of Estella, the granddaughter of Flossie and Anna, the mother of Sandra Lee, the grandmother of Chas Nicole, the great-grandmother of Azel Anu, and I am the director and founder of the Medea Project, Theater for Incarcerated Women. We're doing a show that's going to go up in June. It's entitled Life on the Swerve, and it's about the discrepancies in healthcare for Black and Brown women. So if you're in the Bay Area, please come and see it. But it's been great to just be here with Adia. And, and of course, with Sarah, it's been magic. Thank you so much to both of you for having me.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that's so special about Harriet's Gun is that you see a bunch of people that are divided by geography that wouldn't necessarily be in performances together because we just don't live in the same places. So for me, it's always like hella fun to do this show because I can put the people that are like the homies right here and then like the homies over here from the different regions and the different genres of dance. Like it really is a place where I see like the continent, I see the diaspora, and I see us in the future, I see us in the past, I see so many versions of us. And so I'm gonna start with my first, delving into the Q&A. And so my first question for everyone is, what are some of the crumbs or instructions or maps or examples of blueprints that you're leaving behind in your work or your way of working, of how exactly Black people and Black makers can shape shift towards the future. So like, what are you leaving behind in your work? Like, how are we shape shifting? Because, you know, there's all this Afrofuturism talk and they hire us for all these Afrofuturism gigs and all these things. And that's cute, right? Because it's the trend and it's the word. But like, what are we actually doing to get ourselves there? And part of the reason why you've been invited here, because you guys are actually doing things in your work, in your making processes that are very interesting and getting us there. So if, however, you guys can just jump in however you want. What are some of those maps and instructions and blueprints and crumbs we're leaving, or you guys are leaving behind?
I just want to quickly say that was a dope question. I'm gonna take some notes and I'll be back. But I'm gonna listen in the meantime. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Because I hella thought about it. Because I need these answers too. Like I'm also asking for myself. Like how are we doing this, right? Because we get all these gigs and it's like, okay, Black future, but like, what are we actually doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mind if I jump in?
What?
I think, again, thank you for the beautiful question. I think, especially for the piece that was presented for Better Town Radio, that was made during COVID. So as you can imagine, I don't know if you saw, we had these masks on and things like that. But when you ask this question about what are we doing, what breadcrumbs are we leaving behind? For me, it's very simple. It's we are the future, right? Like understanding that. So the act of continuing to create in the midst of whatever might be happening. Because to me, it feels like there has to be a collapse. We are currently existing in one, right? Where the collapse of something is happening. And sometimes it's hard to see beyond that until it's collapsed. But if we can continue in our practice of creating, then whatever's needed to be created in that future that we will exist within will be created for that future that we exist within, versus like us trying to mold what we don't know we're going to be engaging with in the future. So I think staying in the practice of creation, no matter what's happening around you, is a gift that we can give and leave behind.
I really, your choice, your piece, like I can relate to it on so many levels. And I think the patterns of what people were wearing, like the look of it was so fresh to me, because I was like, everybody is the cloth. It's not like you're wearing the cloth. Like, you know how you can go to the store, you can buy the cloth that has all the different things on. You can buy ones with telephones and ones with sunglasses and the watches, all the things. But I was like, this is everything that's on the cloth, and the cloth is alive. You know, everything is just like it just was the movement of the cloth for me. And it wasn't just cloth from like West Africa. It was like diaspora cloth and like, you know, all of the cloth. So it was like scrapey opulence for me, you know.
Dickies jumpsuits, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, I went crazy. The bus, and it was cardboard, but it was, and the lady with the rollers and the children, because I have been that lady with my kids running for the
in
bus.
the fruit veil.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was just genius, because I was like, oh, I understand this on all the levels of all the things. Yes. And the intergenerationalness of it, it was extraordinary. It was stunning. Does anybody else want to add anything about the crumbs? Yes, Joe Bowie, come through.
You really called me by my grandfather's name. His name was Joe Bowie. That's so ancestral. Thank you so much. I am Jay Bowie. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. But no, truly, thank you. That made my heart really like skip a beat in a way I didn't anticipate by hearing his name. Thank you for that. And this question, like I said, is so juicy. So I'm like nearly done with my notes, but it's enough to get started. I think the first thing about leaving a blueprint behind in work is like understanding what our ancestors' works were. And I began to get clarity. How say that phrase again? I got clarity and I understood the moment when it started to begin at the Afrofuturism exhibit at the African American Museum in DC. I was like, oh, here goes my artistic ancestors been searching for you for a long time. And now it was just like a continuation of a journey. So I think this film Chiron and Leo is for me an attempt to like have a conversation with my ancestor Marlon Riggs when thinking about making a work that is Black and queer, and at the same time doesn't have to proclaim that it's Black and gay or Black and queer. I like the challenge of not having to say who I am when I begin to speak. You know what I mean? Um, so in the work, I took the aspect ratio, the direct address rhythm, the coloring, the subject matter, and some of the questions I assumed Marlon Riggs was asking when creating Chiron and Leo, with an attempt of like one exploring the blueprint of the film, but then at the same time working as an artist to earn the privilege of having a conversation through art and through time. So I think in leaving a blueprint behind, I'm hoping to leave behind something as rich as what my ancestors do when I want to learn about their work. But in more, it's not to just it be rich in general, but to be rich with resources to navigate through the future, as Marlon Drake's work has done for me.
That's it. Yep, both of y'all. So like history informs me a lot. I'm always looking back so that I can understand this moment and then like figure out what the missings were. Like I didn't know about this speech until somebody told me about this speech, and I listened to the hour-and-a-half speech that Toni Morrison gave at Portland State University in 1975. I wasn't born yet. And so she's like giving me answers to questions that I haven't yet understood that I had, to help me understand the past in a way that is like unraveling, like as a future. Um, and so that's like my like up here version of it. And I think in the process of the making, I got to learn about the people that I was with, which helped me like figure out my relationship with my family in a way that makes a lot of sense. We also had like a beautiful moment on the set. This was also during the COVID times, like lockdown time. So we were like guerrilla style in this refurbished factory in Sacramento, near a river. And thankfully, one of the cast members, her mother and her grandmother were there. So this intergenerational piece was happening on set in a way that I couldn't have planned. But because we have deep history, the artist that I was working with, we had like this like multi-directional conversation happening. And the moment when the sort of central figure, Layla, was in tears, I was directing her to think about something that was happening to her character. And the grandmother of the cast member, like also in tears, was talking about an experience in Los Angeles that was dealing with racism. We know it's like heavy, heavy stuff. But I didn't know that this place had that kind of reality. And so in the process, I'm learning about the past, which informs the present, which then helps me shape my understanding about the future. Logistical things, remuneration, paying the artists a respectable wage in the moment, to me is a blueprint for the future. This is a nonprofit venture that often is like, man, you don't get paid. And these are artists of color. And I'm gonna pay you what you're worth in this dire time. We're always in dire times. Artists don't need to live in dire straits. And so like, how do I model that to these younger artists? Respect for these women. Yeah, like loving and caring for them in the moment. I'm talking a lot. I have a lot to say. I think about the future a lot. Like we are always planting seeds for those. As your question, this beautiful deep question, is like giving me all this energy. I was a little bit like sleepy. Yeah, like literally. I believe the children are the future. Like, how do I pour forward what was poured into me, which was poured into them? So I feel like by making, as what was already said, we are doing that future visioning.
Ah, Oh, so many good words. Oh, okay. Can I ask my next one? Because I know there's a lot. There's also a question in the chat from one of my academic aunties, Elizabeth Zimmer, for Jasmine. She said, "What is unsanctioned dance?"
Okay, so speaking to both of what was offered, thank you, Adia. There was something that happened where I was able to be in that same land coordinates in Venice, Italy, a while back. And it was just terrible. It was so bad. It was like we didn't get paid well, and it was another gig, and we weren't treated well, and all of these other kinds of circumstances. And so to arrive there, to respond to two friends' installation, a part of the Venice Biennale architecture, whatever it was, I arrived at their specific installation that was a love letter. And I just responded every day at noon. And then that after that last one that it's actually filmed, I was asked to never dance there again or I'd get arrested. And I thought that might happen, but I didn't care anyway. And so this way of continually leaning into where my body wants to go, where my pleasure is rooted. And when I speak of my pleasure, I name Audre Lorde and the uses of the erotic and the ways of being with my utmost, deepest, intuitive wisdom. And so I'm not sure how it all happened, but a dear friend of mine filmed me. And so it was this way that I wasn't actually allowed by the folks who were running, overseeing things, but spirit allowed my body to continue to bend and move and listen to this love letter that my two friends were sculpting in these steel pipes and this incredible shadow. So I'm not sure I answered the question, but yeah.
I get it. I get it. I'm all about that unsanctioned spaces because I've lied about the pieces I'm gonna perform and done a whole nother piece and people walking out and all. I love that shit because nobody asked permission. Rosa Parks wasn't like, hey, can I just, you know what I'm saying? They give us all these spaces to perform in, and then it's like, thank you for the space, but what about that space over there where it's not it's not convenient for everyone to hear and see me do what I need to do, right? So yeah, I mean, I understood the answer. Okay, so the next thing I was going to ask you is what are the ways that you've crowned yourself without asking permission in the traditional ways that our people have asked permission from elders, etc.? What are the ways that you crowned yourself in your life, in your work?
I could take a stab at that one. I forgot to say that I was the artistic director at Destiny Art Center for 30 years in Oakland. And so the piece where the young woman talks about, what if her freedom was Black? That piece kind of is a representation of the way that I crown myself, because the way that I crown myself is by being in deep, authentic collaboration with young people. I did that for 30 years. And that piece is such a great example because Molati, which is a body percussion dance company out of Vegas that was featured actually in Harriet's Gun the last time around, they came to do a collaboration with the young people at Destiny, my dance theater company there. And they had a piece and they had a poem, and the piece was kind of to this other poem, and it just wasn't working. And then Lael, the young woman who spoke the poem, she was 16 or 17 at the time, she read that poem. I was like, well, there's the poem. And the choreographers were like, well, yes, that's the one. And there was this like merging of ideas and vision and cross-generational collaboration that was seamless in this gorgeous, like work through it type of way. But that's where that piece came from. And those collaborations, those moments where that magic can happen, where we don't exactly know what's going to happen. We don't know what the future holds, but we're willing to step out on that edge. We're willing to throw ourselves over the edge and say yes, and know that we have to be together as adults, as elders, and as young people together to do the work. That we don't just say, well, the young people, it's your world, good luck. No, we have to be together in it. And to me, that's how I crown myself. I crown myself by saying, I belong to everybody. I belong to the young people that I work with. I belong to the elders and the ancestors, and I belong in this body. And so let's co-create work together that makes sense and that creates a future.
I want to piggyback off of Sarah, my sister. Yes, last night I gave a general observation of that, but tonight I'll be more specific. I was in a position that Sarah knows very well for a major film that I was assisting, a major Black film, and yeah, went through it. The crossroads that I was at was basically like, okay, you're in the position where you hired these Black artists. They're now here. They're now getting paid well. But during the process, I discovered that the particular scene that I had to do, hearing the music, it didn't correlate to the weight of what we were dancing and what we were representing at the time. So the powers that be saw my face once they pressed play and they were like, Kara, what's wrong now? And I was like, that's not traditional what we're doing. And they looked at me and they said, but Kara, he's African. And I said, and I could have lost my job by saying this, and this is snatching my crown. I said, oh, so that means that me being African American, someone can walk up to me and be like, oh, you know how to tap dance. You must know how to play the sax and do this jazz standard real quick. You must know how to do, because you're African American, you're supposed to know all of that, right?
Mm.
So everyone was silent. Of course, I got my spiritual bullets and arrows throughout the week, but things shifted for the rest of the cast because I snatched that then and there. So that later, once it came out, a whole entire ethnic group that we were representing would not throw bullets at them for representing their culture wrong. So I had to, in the heat of the night, catch all of the hell, wear the crown, so that they could reap the benefits, and also the actual literal ethnic group, the living ethnic group, could also get their authentic, genuine culture out there to the mainstream in its proper way. So that's a specific where it wasn't like an elder was there to say, no, go, or I had to put it on. It was like, no, this, I will do whatever, I will catch whatever I have to catch to make sure that everything in its entirety is represented right and authentic. So
that's right, because Africa is not a country, it's a continent, right? Okay, so then that leads me to ask you, what advice or words do you have for the generations coming behind us about crowning themselves?
Come on, Jade.
These are great questions. I'm enjoying just listening, but I think for advice, I would say for me, I have never really asked permission to make the work that I make. I really focus on the mission at hand and the message that I'm trying to portray. And to me, dance is ministry, and not in a cliche way, but like I really make work that is to empower myself. And also I work a lot with young people as well. So making sure that they're also a part of the process. They're also not only learning about the choreographic process, but also about camera work and editing and technology and dipping into lanes that can allow them to spread their reach. And so that I would leave that advice to young people as well, or people coming up, is just like really being faithful to the ministry, to your ministry, to your past. Me being from Milwaukee and living in Chicago and LA and New York and being in a lot of big places, I've had to really hone my own voice, and that takes a lot of work. So that would be my advice.
What about Risa? We haven't heard from you, sis.
Oh, I got a question for Raisa and Rochelle. I got a question for them.
You ready then?
Yes, I'm ready because I nerd out on all this stuff. This stuff is interesting to me. I love this. The role of water in your work, right? I'm interested in why you chose like the water that you chose to engage with. um what did it mean to you? What kind of portal did it create for you or your dancers? Just the role of the water in your work. Can y'all talk about that a little bit?
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
I know I've been.
Well, Raisa's having internet issues. Rochelle, you want to take that and see if you can get her internet back?
Yeah, totally. Thank you for that question, Adia. I would
Yeah,
say,
I can jump in. So funny you say nerd out because we were a bunch of blurs, black blurs in the movie. We was just dressed up.
No, maybe she lost. She can't. Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, choppy right.
Wait, okay. Who is it? Dun, 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 dun,
I
dun,
can
dun.
I can jump in while we wait for Raisa.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I would say a lot of my work is interested in the experiences and the ceremony of bleeding and birthing people, and also honoring the earth as mother in that way, as having that energy. And water is that lifeblood. Water is the lifeblood of mother. So, I mean, and if like water is everything, right? Like water is life. But I think also coming from, I'm from the Mississippi Delta, that's where my people are from. There's a lot around the river. The river is incredibly important in my lineage. And when I think about where we went for transformation, for clearing, for purification, for baptism. And so that water just like comes up as a constant theme, um, especially because I'm working with water as this feminine energy and in reverence of feminine energy and reverence of the Divine Mother in that way. And in the particular work, or I guess there were two, the first one I was like in this river type dark woods. And for me, that was really exploring water as a portal into darkness, actually, and the initiations that can come from uh, like the dark feminine energy and shatterings and endings and death and grief. And then there's kind of on the opposite, the other film that I shared was like water as this place of exaltation and also a place for like a more warrior type energy. So I'm always in reverence to water. I could talk about water forever because I think water is so important to us, like as Black people, the river, the ocean, Yamaya Ocean. Yeah.
I think that Raisa is here off camera. Raisa, come in over.
I am. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. And this question, yeah, water as a portal is a reclamation of um, being in spaces that we normally are not seeing, but also that middle passage of the water represented in the piece. Um, the portal to another planet, Emaya, the black planet, that the Dogon people of Mali had seen and discovered in terms of our Sirius star system. So this is getting kind of nerdy, kind of black nerdy, blurdy. And I think that for us, in creation of the piece, we turned into a choir, we turned into actors, we turned into dancers, we turned into filmmakers throughout the course of the piece. We wrote the script, and the water at the end of Ocean Beach and at the end of the West Coast is the last, that's where the land meets the ocean. And so I did this piece because I had spoken to a lot of Oakland and San Francisco natives who said they have never walked on Ocean Beach. And that kind of struck me. As we were creating the film, we were confronted just for being on the beach. And so we had to deal with that during the filming. And it kind of all brought this to, we were up there channeling Sun Ra, we were trying to, space is the place. And then we were brought back to like, it's time to reclaim our spaces. It's time to put this space in the hands of our people who discovered, if we're going to go there, let's just say, if Black folks, if life started in Africa, we discovered this land, and we brought ourselves to this land through channels in the ocean. So that's what water meant to me. It was reclaiming space, reclaiming our bodies, reclaiming our humanness. It was a profound way to create something that we've been excluded from in the past.
I think so many things. I'm gonna have amazing dreams tonight. I think my head is just gonna be like sugar plums and abracadabra, poof. It's gonna be a magical dreaming time for me. I think we're at the hour because it's Sunday and everybody got to get ready for tomorrow. I want to thank Dance Mission for just like giving Sarah and I the opportunity to do Harriet's Gun again. We'll probably rock this out in, another 2 years because that seems to be how we do. We're grateful to everybody that came through and attended because we didn't know if we did this again, if people were going to come if it wasn't a pandemic. But folks came through. Mama Rodessa, I bow down and kiss your pinky ring every single time. Every single time, Queen Bee. Every single time. Sarah, happy birthday. We love you. You are a magical, magical, magical auntie as well. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to all the beautiful artists. Thank you. And yeah, may Africa.
I want to holler at Adia Whitaker, all the props and praise to the word mastery, visionary, magical, mystical, Afrofuturism, grounded from the skull, gangsta, all the things, magic. That's what I'm talking about. Always my sister. Beautiful, beautiful working with you. I'm sorry I cut you off, but I had to make sure that I had threw some flowers at you today. And if there's any other props that my people on the panel want to give before we set it out, we finish it off with a little music and some dancing as we let people out get in their bodies, please just take yourself off mute and let people know. Let each other know, let the people know anything you want to share before we dip out on this Sunday night.
Y'all are just bomb. Y'all are like bomb. I'm so happy that for 2 nights I got to see amazing work from all of you guys. I don't watch art to take, I watch art to let me know that I'm not alone. And I love these 2 nights. It's like, man, everybody's playing their part. Y'all basically told me, Heifer, keep going. So appreciate it.
Oh, man.
Very similar to what Kara said. It was so great to come here and gather with y'all. Y'all's art is amazing. I'm grateful to be in community and conversation with y'all. I can't wait to see y'all on the flip side. I love this digital stuff, but the in-person, soon come. So I hope this is a seed to plant for some kind of physical connection, you know?
Black at Jack on Tuesday. Black at Jack on Tuesday.
Yeah. If you happen
Hey.
to be in New York and you want to do a little whacking thing and you're black, Tuesday night we're doing a black whack at Jack.
Whacking, I wish I was there.
Make a West Coast.
All right, fam. Are we ready to dance it out? Any final words? Rodessa, any final words?
Love
Yeah, I
y'all.
was thinking about wearing one's crown. I was thinking about Zora Neale Hurston, who used to say, "You would want to know me." You know, people be like, "Well, who are you again?" And I use that. It's like, darling, you would not want to know me. You don't know me? You should know me. And they're like, who the hell is that? Well, Van is like, that's my little nugget, okay? You would want
We have to drop the mic on that one.
I love all
Check
of
it
y'all.
out
Thank
now.
you so much. Thank you.
No doubt now.
Thanks to Stella from Dance Mission.
Check it out now.
And if you're in the audience still, you better get up out your seat. Come on.
No doubt, yo. Special girl, real good girl. Biggest thing in my itty bitty world. Call her up and she made me feel right. Wish the bliss could never take flight. Sitting back with this mic in my hand. Spitting hot shit, trying to see grand. Imprinted on my mind every minute. Make my plans and you always in it, y'all. It's such a vibrant thing. Vibrant thing, a vibrant thing. And even though we both fly, give each other space and not the evil eye. Acting like grown-ups, don't even try to hide cause the spot blown up. Girlfriend telling you she wanna see. I say I don't know, but you say gladly. And when we both do head, we go on and on and on and on and on and sweeter than Ben and Jerry. Can I rhyme? Well, you know I get mine. Sitting around in my abstract car. This abstract thing going abstract far, yo. Such a vibrant thing. Vibrant thing, a vibrant thing. Yo, it's such a vibrant thing. Vibrant thing, a vibrant thing. Check it, yo, check it, look at y'all, check it, look at me, yo, such a vibrant thing. Vibrant thing, a vibrant thing.
The gold portal, the gold earring portal. I hope you take all of this with you. Thank you for joining us. We love you. Hey.